Markets got crushed on Thursday as oil pushed back toward $100 a barrel, with the Dow tumbling 1.56%, the S&P 500 falling 1.52%, and the Nasdaq sliding 1.78% to close at new 2026 lows. Today, we're covering oil roaring back toward $100 as Iran's new supreme leader says the Strait of Hormuz stays shut. The Pentagon's messy war with Anthropic after Palantir confirmed the U.S. military is still running Claude despite a federal ban, and American Express dropping one of the largest buybacks in its history, plus much more. P.S. I post real-time updates on X throughout the day, so give me a follow at NA_man20 if you want this before your coworkers do. Read the full piece with charts and graphs for free at namanlohia.substack.com. Brent crude briefly hit $100 a barrel on Thursday, up roughly 38% since the Iran war began on February 28th, and the national gas average climbed to $3.59 per gallon as of today's AAA reading. Iran's new supreme leader declared on state television that the Strait of Hormuz, through which roughly 20% of the world's daily oil supply passes, should remain closed as a tool of pressure. The IEA's emergency release of 400 million barrels, the largest in the organization's history, has failed to move the needle, with Iraq halting all operations at its oil terminals and the U.S. Energy Secretary confirming the Navy isn't ready to escort tankers through yet. Goldman Sachs estimates an $18 per barrel risk premium is baked into current prices. Analysts expect the gas average to push toward $3.75 to $4 before any real relief. From oil to a story in a very different arena. Palantir CEO Alex Karp confirmed Thursday that his company's Maven Smart system is still running Claude inside U.S. military operations, even as a federal directive orders all contractors to phase it out within 6 months. Maven helped strike roughly 1,000 targets in the first 24 hours of the Iran campaign, processing intelligence from more than 170 data sources across 20,000 daily users. Anthropic signed a $200 million Pentagon contract in 2025 with a built-in policy prohibiting Claude from being used for autonomous weapons. The Pentagon demanded those limits be removed. Anthropic refused, and Defense Secretary Hegseth designated the company a supply chain risk on March 5th, while Trump ordered a 6-month phase-out. Anthropic filed suit on March 9th, with Microsoft and 37 researchers from OpenAI and Google filing briefs in support. Every AI lab watching this case now has to ask the same question: are your own guardrails a liability? On a different note, American Express announced a $16 billion buyback on March 11th, one of the largest in its history, and shares jumped more than 6%. The company reported a 15% surge in total network volume and a 20% jump in cross-border spending, driven by premium leisure travel surpassing pre-pandemic levels, with guidance calling for EPS of $17.30 to $17.90 and revenue growth of 9 to 10%. Amex's closed-loop network gives it better spending visibility than Visa or MasterCard, and what that data shows is simple. Affluent consumers are not pulling back, even as the broader economy lost 92,000 jobs in February, and oil marches toward $100. Rounding out today, Google announced 2 Gemini-powered features for Maps, calling it the platform's biggest navigation upgrade in more than a decade. Ask Maps lets you search in plain language, things like "my phone is dying, where can I charge it without waiting in a long line for coffee?" Or "is there a public tennis court with lights on that I can play at tonight?" Immersive navigation redesigns driving entirely with 3D buildings, transparent intersections, and voice directions that sound like a person rather than a robot. The system processes more than 5 million traffic updates per second. Ask Maps is rolling out now in the US and India. Bytes. Netflix will pay as much as $600 million for interpositive, Ben Affleck's AI filmmaking company, with the team building post production tools trained on a production's own footage rather than generating synthetic performances. The deal comes weeks after Netflix collected a $2.8 billion breakup fee from Warner Brothers Discovery. Perplexity unveiled Personal Computer at its first developer conference Wednesday, an always on AI agent running on a Mac Mini that works across your files and apps 24/7 from any device. Russia earned an additional $6.9 billion in fossil fuel revenue in just the first 2 weeks of the Iran war, with the strait closure effectively doubling Moscow's per barrel earnings while its rivals burned through billions fighting. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Read the full breakdown with charts and graphs for free at namenlohia.substack.com and follow me on X at NA_man20 for real-time updates. See you tomorrow.